Pretty encouraging in the last 3 weeks, but was that, I guess, a bit of a sober reminder heading into this pre-season of, like the work that you've got to do ahead, I guess?
Today was disappointing. So you got to the 5 minutes ago, and I didn't really know how to think. There's a part of me that was thinking about today, and disappointing. We just didn't have the energy and the spark and what was needed. We knew that against Freo, it's going to be a grind of a game. We're going to have to work really hard for a long time to break them down, and we just didn't. We just couldn't do it today. We couldn't find a way, and tried lots of different things, and we never could bridge that 4-goal gap at any stage. So it was a challenging day. And then there's a part of me that was thinking about the bigger picture, and we're making progress. Not as quick as some people think. We've finished 16th, so we have to remember that we've got an enormous amount of work to do to compete against the sides that are going to be playing for the next 5 weeks.
I guess form fluctuations throughout the year have been probably one of the big features of your season. Obviously, a young developing team. Is that heading into next season? Is that obviously one of the aims to really bridge that gap of how often your form fluctuates so much? I guess.
Yeah, clarity of understanding creates consistency. So that's one of the things that we really need to work on is clarity of messaging, consistency of performance, and the longer we play together, the more consistent we'll become. But our best patches of footy were pretty good and pretty potent, but they were a long way apart, particularly in the early part of the year. They got a little bit more regular. And even in a game like today, we didn't get blown away. They never kicked a whole bunch of goals in a row, which was a serious problem in the first half of the season. So, we were sort of thereabouts for a long time. Today we just could never quite bridge the gap. So while we're making progress, we know that we're 16th, so we know that is the reality, and that's where we're at, and we know we've got a lot of development to do, and there's lots of positives to see. There's lots of parts of the game that we're really pleased with. If you had have said today that we could win the inside 50 count, win the clearances by 10 or 11, and just be not finding a way to score, if you had have given me that at the start of the year and said, well, if we're winning those things, then I probably would take it, because of that was where one of the big challenges was around the middle of the ground. But pleasingly, that part of the game we've worked enormously hard on and had results. Scoring has been more of a challenge, and pretty regular that I was referring to Mitch Lewis in the coach's box next to me and thinking that he might have assisted us today.
Where did the improvement come in the second half of the year, generally? Because it was a better second half. Where do you think it came from?
The improvement in the second half of the year, I think a lot of it came from finding something that worked for us. I think as a coach, you have some philosophies that you want to embed, and also you need to work with your squad about what their strengths are, how they can perform at their best. And I think key players playing consistently together. I think the obvious one is Mitch Lewis, but even someone like Josh Weddle, who comes into the side, and then Seamus Mitchell, they sort of came into the side around that time, and then were able to play a lot of footy consistently together. And when we were able to do that, we found a couple of things that worked well for us, and over time opposition took it away. So then we need to continue to master our craft and to be better at it, which has been an ongoing challenge for our group and for every group. You need some things that you do week in and week out, and we're just finding it now. And so it's a little bit, I think everyone's a bit disappointed the season's over.
James has obviously played another real lone hand in defence. Is that an area that you guys are going to have to, I guess, attack in the off-season, giving a bit more assistance down there? There's reports that you may be looking at Ben Mackay as a potential, but is that something you're looking at as well, that department?
I think we're always trying to improve our list, and Sis was, he's fantastic again. And at 3/4 time, it was like the rest of this game is actually going well. We just can't find a way to score, and so Sicily's our most potent threat in the ground. So I said to him, "You want to go forward, see if you can?" He said, "Yeah, sure." So in the last quarter, he got isolated a couple of times and probably could have kicked a couple, but the rest of the game didn't look great, so we moved him back again. But Sis has had a fantastic season, and he'll continue to be really important for us. But I think him being a lone hand is a bit disrespectful to some of the other efforts of some of our other players. I think Blake Hardwick's season has been outstanding, and I think James Blank today, he was pretty isolated for a lot of the game, and I think he's played 20 or 30 games. He actually stood up really well. So I think the rest of the back half is is got some work to do to get to James Sicily level, but I thought that wasn't the issue in the game today.
Is Ben Mackay someone you would consider getting?
I mean, list management is something for Mark McKenzie and his team to build towards, but I think we're very keen to improve our list, of course, like everyone is. And in the last 2 years, we've made significant changes to the way that the whole list profile looks, and now our list profile is about where we want it to be. And so we need some finishing touches and some more talent in a couple of key areas. And there's some players out there on the free agency market that we'll be looking towards.
So 5 years now since finals, are you getting impatient? Supporters understand what's going on, but there's a bit of impatience there, and they'd love to get back to September. How do you feel about all that? Are you getting impatient as well, or do you just think it's process and small steps?
Oh, I mean, I think there was a period where the clarity of the future is there. And I mentioned to the players 6 months ago how many people believed in what we were doing, and it was, in the hundreds. And now, potentially, it's close to in the millions. Anyone who follows footy, they might not think we're doing the right thing, but they know what we're trying to do, and they've seen some evidence of that. And I think finals being in our sights. Will we get there next year? It seems like we've got another year of significant amount of development to do, I would say, before we're competing with the best sides on a regular basis. But can everyone within our four walls see future finals for us? And the answer to that is a clear yes. And that's part of our job, is to build towards that. We can skip a few steps and try to get there straight away, but we're not interested in just ducking into the finals. We want to be a team, like there's teams that are finishing in the top four and getting criticised. What a great luxury that would be. And that's what we're heading towards. So that's the standard that we have to hold ourselves to, and that we have to continue to work towards. Now, one of those barriers in getting there is to make the finals, and that's a very public one that everyone will look at. But that's not the goal of our group. Our goal is not to make finals. Our goal is to win premierships. So anything that gets in the way of that, and even if that was making finals, we're not allow that. We have to try to win premierships, and that's what we're here to do.
Possibly organise a few things with the players, maybe watch a few finals together, or in the coming month, or.
I don't know if that's actually allowed, so I probably wouldn't formally be asking players to go and watch finals. But I mean, I've encouraged our players, and we haven't had obviously the big exit meeting where we talk about those things. But there's a part of me that doesn't feel like this is the end of a season and it's a break between now and our next game, of course. But we're still on the same journey. The journey isn't changing gears. The journey isn't changing directions. It's the same journey that we're on. And a part of that is understanding the pressures that come with finals footy. And as hard as we thought today's game was, it'll be nothing on any one of the finals that's coming. And so I've said to our players, if you get any chance to go to any finals, you should go to them. Because for those couple of them who have played in finals, there's a step up, and that consistency of it, every time they feel a little bit sorry for themselves in a training session and they remember what a semi-final's like, or a preliminary final, that's always a fantastic weekend. And I think going to finals footy, particularly in Melbourne, is one of the best things you can do. I think it's a great time of year, September, and that's why I think we're all a bit disappointed that our season's over before September comes.